All right, we are recording,
Yep.
and then I'm going to go ahead and introduce Terry Nugent, the MICIP lead, who is familiar to most of you by now for today's presentation. And again, what I'll do is, for those of you who are just joining us, Terry will be referring to a couple pages in the platform guide. So I put the link in the chat in case you would like to access that to follow along while Terry is presenting.
Thank you. Ben, you might want to do it one or two more times. I see that we've gained 4 more people in the last few minutes. So good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is well. You look all warm. This has been quite it was a mild winter until, I don't know, February was just, it's going out harsh. It's such a cold February this year. I can't wait for this to be over. And I think we're almost to the point now where I don't need any introductions. Ben never does, because all of you know Ben so well. We're getting there with my name. So hopefully the ones that I can see here, I know you all, so this is great. So this morning it is by request that I go through and just do a walkthrough of what the administrative settings for MICIP, but also as an ISD admin, but also to talk a little bit about the district as well, because there's such a thing called an ISD support. And so I'm going to be covering those 2 things this morning. If you do have your platform guide open, I'm going to really be addressing issues from page 9 to 19. So for those of you who like to highlight and take notes and do all that good stuff, you might want to start turning there. Okay, so right now I'm in our staging environment. Thank you, Katie, for you and Sean being willing to be our staging test site. All the information that comes out of this is their public data. Nothing, no private data is in there, so it's all public facing. So we're going to go through and we're going to go under administrative settings. So the navigation bar, as you know, changes. So in this mode right now, I am in my ISD planning role. So, but with that, I have, you see 3 abilities to come in and work. The first one is the district builder. And what that means is that you could go in and put in your centers or buildings that you support. It's very easy to do. You can do it 2 ways, actually. One is you can manually upload it by typing in the exact name, identifying the exact type of program. So it can be a school, it can be a facility, it can be a program. And then we have this one that's like unspecified. So, and if you're a 1 building district, we usually use school other. So, so this is, you have choices here of what to, how to identify that. This is very important. The identity code is the building code. So we've had some, if your PSAs are helping you with you loading their buildings or asking you for help, remind them that they want to use their building code here, not their district code. Because when you or anyone logs into MICIP, it is identifying your district first. And so that's an underlying code that's associated with your authentication and authorization. So you want to use building. And then here, this is kind of a silly one. We're at this point, you're only going to be putting open or active goals in, but you still have to hit it. There is another way of uploading your buildings that are associated with your district, and that is through the EEM. Now, for those of you who have been trying to do that before the last release, which is, I believe it was the end of January, we had a bug in the system. So what was happening was if you tried to download a CSV file from the EEM, it would automatically add other weird things like It would have, you would see district buildings in there. Sometimes it wasn't even allowing you to get in and upload anything. It was really kind of a mess. And so that bug did fix. We haven't had any further tickets in the service desk requesting help with EEM. But if you need help, that information is in the platform guide to help you do it. I will give you a warning though. If you're the kind of person that likes to peek in the file before it goes into the system, Excel has this quirky little thing where it goes in and it will reconfigure some numbers. And so you don't want that to happen. So don't peek, just go in, load it, and it'll work because it's picking up your district number. So it knows that. So any building that's associated with your district will show up. So, and it works very well right now. Next is the usage report. This is kind of nice as an, again, this is for your ISD building plans. So you can see here that a usage report tells us who is actually a user or authorized to participate in your, in this case, it would be Eaton-Risa. These are all made up, by the way. Eaton-Risa's authority. So they can come in and these are users and administrators. It also shows you when they last logged in and how many days has it been since then. So this can be important because let's say as you're doing your ISD plans, your continuous improvement group has decided it's like, okay, we're going to go in and check and monitor like every 30 days. We're just going to, or every 6 weeks or whatever is the time frame. And so if it's every 30 days, then you can see here that I have 4 people that haven't been in within that time. And I have several that haven't even opened MICIP yet. So it gives you an idea of who's active and if you need to manage that. This is the fun one. This is the one where you have your most flexibility. And right now we have 1 admin user and we have 1 ISD user. So here, if you're going to create a user and you are the admin, then you will only see this one role here. And that is you're in charge. Every admin, whether you're an ISD admin or you are a district admin, your job is to manage roles and functions. And the role that you manage are users. So you would come in here, you could put in the first and last name, make sure that you have an accurate email address because that is what authenticates and authorize these individuals in your system. Of course, this is where you know your ISD is, in this case, is Eaton-Risa, and then in here you have certain functions that you can assign to this user. So I believe the functions description of those are on page 17 in the platform guide. So when you go in here, you'll find out what they're about. But I'm just going to briefly review them. So anything with a view it's just what it says. You can look at it, but you cannot make any changes to it or modify it, add things to it, or any of that. The next would be the ability to edit. So if I'm in an ISD and I am part of our continuous improvement team to create plans, then you should probably give this person that role. The submit plan, again, MICIP is not a one-size-fits-all platform. So we really were thinking that this function would be for those larger systems that have the protocols where the team would work and create the plans. And then there was one final person or a small group of people that would go in and say, okay, this looks good, let's submit it. And so by giving that person that function, they have the right to add a plan to go into the portfolio. The open and close function is, you might have seen this in a portfolio. It has that little lock to it. Right now we're remote, right? Some of us are all over the place and we're not in the same room. And so it may be that a team, we're saying, okay, we're going to close this, this plan by February 19th. Everybody needs to get in their materials into this plan. And once February 19th is over, then if I have this, I'm gonna have the function of closing the plan. And it's simply by just clicking on that little lock, and it just goes from open to close. Next one is updating strategies and updating goal measures. Again, this is another edit function. So if someone has this function, that's probably because they're sitting on a continuous improvement team. The view goal and edit goal, this one is a rather interesting one. So if I have a goal evaluation, remember that is called the impact tool. That is that big circle, colorful circle at the end of when you're looking at evaluating whether a goal has been met or not, and you have those 4 questions. When you give that function to someone, they can see what you have written. If they don't have that, then they won't be able to get to that part of the platform. The edit goal evaluation, this is the team or the person that can go in and actually add text into that text box. The approved goal completion, this is the keys to the castle. This is the function that when you say, have we met the goal, yes or no, this person has that function to put yes or no. Now it can be multiple people. It doesn't have to just be one person. Again, it depends on the type of protocols that you have when creating goals. Larger systems have certain, like you'll see the assistant superintendent usually is the one who just, you know, make sure that everything is fine and then says, yes, let's put it in. Where your smaller districts, everybody does so many different things that it just makes sense to give them select all and give them all the functions that they have. So these last 3 are specific to ISDs. So if you were in, say, looking at a district, create user screen, they will not have these 3 functions in their on their platform. So this one, of course, this allows you to go in and see the LEA portfolio. We have that in there because not everyone in an ISD who may be participating in creating ISD plans may not be necessarily supporting districts, so within their region. So you can decide whether does that function need to go with that person or not. The idea of managing LEA users, this is where you can go in and help manage the LEA or PSA's user by, let's say you're in a workshop and you've got, you know, I'm there and I'm from Grand Ledge, and Katie, who's the Eaton Risa support person, says, I don't see you on the list. Well, let me add you. So she would add me into my district, and therefore I'm authorized to be in there. And the last one is the one that is a great thing to have. And I also be careful because just because you can impersonate doesn't mean you should. So be very careful. But an impersonation is where you can go into a district and impersonate. Right now, it's just a district user. We do have in this next release, I believe it's this next release, I have to check for sure, but you will be able now to impersonate district admin. I really, really strongly suggest that before you impersonate anyone in a district, that they are well aware of that. So there are some workarounds, which I'll talk about in a minute, where you can have your own identity in a district and not have to worry about impersonation. So, but for now, these are the functions and how you create users.
Terry,
Now,
a question before we go on, if I could. So back to the identification in the builder, question about if ISD center-based programs would be classified as school other?
ooh, I think that based on you. Now, MICIP doesn't monitor that. That's really just for, that's a label for you as an ISD to determine. So yes, you could use that. the part that we connect to the most is the identity number. Whatever comes in from the EEM, that number is the most important piece, because we use that for tagging purposes.
So Dave Hunt mentioned that he used school special for that one as well. So
Yep.
as you said, it's for the purpose of the ISD, not for so much the purpose of MICIP. I mean, it's the work of the ISD. The other thing I think is important to note is that we do use the term submit plan in here, which we have always been saying that no longer will districts have to submit a plan. Right. So the way that we use it in here, just to clarify, is that it's submitting it to the portfolio. You're not submitting it to MDE or another entity.
No, you're not. So thank you for clarifying that. So I'm in here now. I'm still in the, I'm eating Risa, and I'm going to come in and I want to do some looking around. Now, if I just click on my name, you will see here that here are the schools that are in my region, in my area, that I am authorized to look at. So I can come in, and again, we can open up. I'm in there in Grand Ledge's page now, looking at their users. And when you come in here and you want to create a user, you will do it the same way. So you can click now. This is a function that was, I'm managing district users. If I didn't have that function, this would just be grayed out, and you wouldn't be able to click on it and add anything. And notice here that you're simply adding district user. Admin, whether it's ISD or district, admins are assigned by the state. So Rennie is the one who will come in and add whomever to the admin role, whether it's at ISD or district. So, but you're here you can manage that. You can then determine, do I select all? And this would be something where you, again, having some conversations ahead of time with the district is good, because it may be a staff person, but do they have rights to edit? So you should want to make sure that you just don't select all and give them all the rights, but you've had a conversation about that with the district admin. You'll notice right now, though, that like if I go and put my cursor on, let's see, Mark Bush, there's no pencil there yet. So that's going to be the change when we, so with this one, we can come in and we can edit. And here is where you have a lot of flexibility, right? And so a couple of things on this page that I want to point out. One is deactivation. So, and this is true even for your ISD. So it's not just for districts, but it's also an ISD user function. You can deactivate someone. When you deactivate someone, their name hopefully goes at the bottom of I didn't do it. Let me see. Oh, sorry, let me go. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to deactivate Dirk. And you'll notice now that he appears here at the bottom of the screen. So with that, if you click on his name, it will tell you what strategies, goals, activities he's assigned to. So if he's leaving your district or being reassigned, or for whatever reason you're deactivating him, then it will tell you what they were monitoring or owner of. And then based on your list, these are all of my people who are authorized in Grand Ledge's system. I can reassign it to someone and just hit confirm. So now you'll notice that the deactivated user is gone from this list. And if we were to look for Russell and where Russell is with his ownership, then this would show up in his list of things that he needs to do. So that's deactivation. If I look at then the other one, which is impersonation, then when I come in, I click on impersonation. And well, it's the first time I've done it for this person. So the TNC comes up. I, of course, going to behave. And then it tells me who I'm impersonating. So here, I'm actually in Grand Ledge. I have all the rights and privileges, that Bill Barnes has. So I can come in here And now I can see and edit their plans because Bill has that function. So I really can do anything he can do in the system. So this is why when we talk about impersonation, you need to be very careful, because if you don't have a strong relationship with that district and you want to come in and just tweak something, you know, it will really cause some conflict. So you want to be very, very careful and talk about it ahead of time. Now, the workaround to be a part of a district team as an ISD person can happen with a unique email address. So if in this case, let's say it's bbarnes@grandledgeps.org, then that @grandledgeps.org would be your back end of your email, and the front end would be, let's say, tnugent@grandledge, so that you would then, because of that email, you can then be assigned as a user in the district with certain privileges. Now, if you're going in just to view plans, you won't need that because you automatically see that. Now I'll switch back and let you see what you can see. But right now you are in their plan working and can add things, change things, or whatever. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to stop impersonating. And so then the screen is going to change back. And now I am back to my home page. Now, with this, let's see, I was going to make a point without trying to lose it. Manage users here. Oh, this is what I wanted to show you. I just wanted to show you the deactivation is also the same for you in the ISD realm, not for just the district realm. Okay.
Terry, question. If you are impersonating somebody and you want to stop, is there a specific place that you have to click to say stop impersonate, or does it automatically happen when you go back out of that?
No, it doesn't automatically happen. So I'm impersonating this individual right now. And when I go over here, do you see where I'm pointing to? It says stop impersonation. You'll always know whether you're in the impersonation mode because it's an added title up here to the just below the navigation bar. And so if I click on stop impersonation, the screen will then refresh and you'll notice that there's nothing below that navigation bar. Now, is it not? Oh, yes.
A couple other questions. So how would that work with a federated login? For example, we use Google SSO. How would we need a Google account from the LEA?
I don't know. So Brad, you're on the line. Do you have the answer to that? You don't mind? Sorry, putting you on the spot.
Yeah, we're perhaps a little bit unique because we all share one Google domain. All of our districts do. So we are federated, and I have an account for each of my districts, and it logs in just fine. But that may be a little different for you if you don't have control over their Google environment to make those accounts, and you're relying on somebody at your LEA to make those accounts for you. But I guess even if the LEA was creating the account, once you had it, you should be able to log in. I just flip over to an incognito window, and I just go through the process to get prompted for my Google credentials. I pick the LEA out of the list and I log in.
And I just have to give a little big thank you to Brad, because he was very early into the MICIP process when this problem with the email became known. And so for those of you who do not know, one email per building, but once you've used your email once, it cannot be used anyplace else. And so it is one of those quirky programming things which we will be solving in the future. But for now, Brad actually figured out a way of working around that. And So I've shared your trick with many people, Brad. Does anyone else, can anyone else answer the Google question though? And if so, please speak. Open your mic, please. Oh, okay.
There are a few other suggestions that people have offered in the chat
Oh,
as well.
good.
But another question says, if you want to work with a district, can you add yourself as a district user with certain rights to work in the plan?
As long as you have a unique email, you just can't use your ISD email because you're attached to your ISD. So if I go in and let's see. And I'll show you what it looks like when they're there. So let's go in and create Bugs Bunny. And so bug at I think it said com, right? Nope, my memory's shut. 1.1, okay. So bug at 1.1. What will happen is required me to have a name. Okay, and select a role and should tell me yes. A user with this email already exists. So it's already checked to see if this is a unique email. And if you're trying to use it multiple times, it will not allow that. Hence the reason for the workaround. All right, Ben, is there any others?
I think that's it for questions at the moment.
Okay. All right. And while I have you, I just want to go through, make sure I've covered all my items. Yes. So I just want to give you a bit of, this is the dashboard. This is your homepage, right? You have whatever goals that you have in your system, things you're working on, and then you have the assist plans for your districts. So with that, you'll notice that the navigation bar is fully loaded, right? You can go through the continuous improvement process of building plans for your ISD. When you hit this tab, and now you're looking at your assigned list of districts, then you will be able to go in and view their plan. And you'll notice how this changes just a little bit. It's not just Grand Ledge Public Schools, but it indicates that it's part of you as an ISD. Going in here, now you're view only. So no longer can I click on a button. It sits right here. It says edit implementation plan. You cannot do that. That's the default. Everyone can view what's in their assigned districts, but they cannot edit unless they have that function added to them. So I just wanted to show you the difference. And then let's go back. Oh, wait a minute. I want to go back to that PSA one more time. I want you to watch the navigation bar. Do you see the difference? So now you no longer have the ability to look at data or add plans. It's just about the portfolio and your reporting and being able to print reports. So that just wanted to point that out to everyone. So with that, you can go in. Again, the drop-down menu is really helpful if you have multiple buildings. If you're in a district portfolio and you want to look at a particular building, you will be able to see this is right now district-wide, but and I'm not sure if we've loaded any buildings actually to them. So that might be why nothing's coming up here, but you can search in that way. And so for those of you who have many districts that you support, there is a search button up here that will help you. The filters here are also very helpful. If you're looking for looking for helping anyone that may be struggling to meet their goals, you might want to just say, I want to just look at the ones that are overdue. That means they have something overdue, whether it's a strategy or activity, it will show up. So at this point, it is just, Grand Ledge has something here. And so you would probably go into their plan and scan it very quickly, and you could see which activities or end measures or interim measures are overdue. So the rest of it on target, they're within the range that they had decided to take the time that they want to be successful completing that strategy or activity. Approaching means that it hasn't started yet. So when you see that up here, then that's what it means. This is going to happen in the future. When this is grayed out, it means that they have no interim measures are the only type of measure that is optional at this time. Although there's been deep discussion about should we make this required. Due is a one day due. If you hit a due and you get one school, that means, or one district, today is the day that they had decided that they would look at their data and make a determination whether they have met that goal or not. So that's what these filters are. They could be quite helpful and in sorting, especially if you have so many schools that you're trying to monitor. So with that, I think I've covered everything that I intended to cover for today.
So I do have some questions, Terry.
Yep.
I'm going to try to get these caught up there. So question about deleting an in progress goal.
There's no deletion right now in MICIP. You cannot delete. So I've been trying to be very clear that whatever you put in right now into your platform is permanent until that change happens. And I don't believe that is until the next, not this release this month, but I believe the next release, which we do not have a date yet for that. So so if you're still in the mode of like trying to experience and understand MICIP, I highly suggest that you do that in training. I know that it's not your data. It's Grand Ledge's or Eaton Reese's. No, it's only Grand Ledge's public facing data, but it is very important that you use that platform to train people so that you can avoid putting things in there that we are gonna have the option of scrubbing, but that won't be for just still a little bit. So
question about, will individual school plans in ASSIST be available or just the district improvement plan?
Okay, there is a lot of material on this, and whoever asked that question, please go to the website because we have, it's in the process guide. Ben, you probably remember the page. I think it's page 8 or 9, something. It's in the very beginning where it's explained all plans are district plans. Building plans are a subset or part of the district plan. So what happens is you can tag, and I'm about to log in as a district right now. So all you do is use a drop-down menu to filter, and there's your SIPs. They're right there.
So we might have misunderstood. So Karen was specifically asking about in ASSIST, not in MICIP. So Karen, could you just clarify a minute?
Sure. We always recommended our schools, the individual schools, print off or save as a PDF their school improvement plan in ASSIST. But when you showed us the one screenshot there, Terry, it showed that the ISD could access the DIPs for the different districts. I didn't know if that would also allow you to drill down into ASSIST to see the individual school plans that were uploaded previously, or if it will just stay at the district level. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. Thank you for clarifying. I believe we'll be able to do that if you impersonate a user in the system.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. In fact, that's theory. We should check that out. So I'm going to go back.
I did that, Terry. I went in and I saw the districts do have their school improvement plans on their page.
Good. So it's
okay. Carol, do the districts and the individual schools also have them, or just the districts?
So when I went in as one of our districts, I saw all of the school improvement plans also on their page.
Thank you for clarifying. That's
So Carol,
the one-
Carol also had a question about PSAs,
Huh?
about her assist plans for PSAs, whether they are in there or not. She said
Mhm.
she wasn't able to.
Yeah, when I go to my page, the only assist plans that I show loaded in for Oakland schools are my districts, not my PSAs.
Ah, okay. Ben, let's check with Rennie. I'm supposed to be in another meeting 8 minutes ago. I apologize. But I will, why don't we talk to Rennie about this, and he can look into it. I just have one more thing to do, and then I do have to jump off. Ben, can you see my MICIP dashboard?
Yes.
Okay, so last thing, so how does a district get an ISD support outside of their ISD region? So you'll see here, I'm in as a district. The districts have one more tab under admin settings that you do not, and that is ISD support. So if they go in, they can come here, and as you can tell, I've been playing around with this, and add an ISD. Say I want to add Barry. All I simply do is find the ISD that I'm asking support from, and then adding them there. And what happened then is the entire ISD staff, in this case, Barry ISD, would have Grand Ledge listed in their PSA LEA dashboard. So it will show up. So in the case that you are a district person and you are, you're an ISD person, and only you are the ones who support that that district, please let your colleagues know that it's going to show up, but it's just for me to monitor. So I apologize. I'm really late for this next meeting, and I called it. So I will have to let you go. But Ben, thank you so much for the opportunity today to present. And if there are any other further questions, I'd be happy to address them via email.
So what I did is I captured all the questions out of the chat, and we'll go back through and make sure that the ones that have not been answered do get answered, and we'll figure out a way to get that information to all of you. So just again, thank you, Terry, very much for this. And again, if as you continue to think about this, you have other questions, go ahead and send them to me, and I will make sure that, like I say, that they get answered, whether or not you put them in the chat today or not. So again, just to let folks know that, as I said, we are recording, and so we will post this as soon as it takes just a little bit to make it available as an MP4. So what we will do is I will send it to Dave Krebs for GELN members for placement in their Google Drive, and I will post it in the Schoology Drive for my MICIP members. We'll let you know where those are, and eventually, like I said, they'll be on the MICIP website, but until then, at least you'll have them available in the meantime. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. If you have further questions, please keep in touch and let us know.